does this get applied to the firm? You need to make some decisions about who you are. Are you cauliflower crusts? Are you whole wheat? Are you thin? Are you deep dish? Nobody can be amazing and be all of these things. So you have to take some time and really think about this, because then once you know who you are, once you really live with it and breathe it and write it down, everything gets easier. That's why this is the crust, and that's the most important first hack. Next comes sauce, and sauce is flavor. It's what makes everything stick together, and all the toppings and cheese stay on better. You can have pizza without sauce, it's just not great. This is your people, your processes. Hiring is hard. Hiring is really hard, and management and training is probably harder, at least for me. And getting the right people makes this a whole lot easier. People plus a structure makes management work, and anytime our management falls off, we suffer. People need ongoing support, just like any other relationship. So, determining if you have the right people is the first step. This is a tool from the book Traction. Traction is probably my favorite, most recommended business book. If you haven't read Traction, read it. This thing is called the People Analyzer, and here's how it works. You take the values on the top and your people's names on the side, and then you go through and you evaluate. Do my employees possess these values all the time, which is a plus, sometimes plus / minus, or not really, negative. And we do this every single quarter because things change. We hired a gentleman about a year ago, and we went through the People Analyzer, and I think he really wanted to embody these values, and we thought that he did, but it was kind of clear over the year that it just wasn't working. Like, we had him on a performance improvement plan, clients were complaining, employees were complaining, like it wasn't going well. So, and every quarter we do reviews, and so we sat down with my managing attorney and we went through this exercise, and when we got to that person's name, it was all negatives, and it was just, in 2 days, he was gone. Like, this is not personal, it just cannot work. Like, if you don't share the values of the firm, it will not work. Here's why. When people come to hire Modern Law, they want me. It's not just that they want me, Billy, they want the essence of what we are selling, what I'm selling to them, which is creative solutions, empathy, it's being a supportive friend who's on their journey. That's the energy they come to hire. So, if I try to hand off a client that hires me to a lawyer who's grumpy, it doesn't work, and I've tried it. So when we first went through this exercise, I had this gentleman working for me who was fabulous, just really good. I had done a great job hiring him by all traditional methods. My facilitator had helped me hire him. I had talked to his bosses, I had talked to his coworkers, I had talked to his clients. He was a solid attorney, but the dude was grumpy. Didn't want to be friends with anybody. We were out at a Christmas party, and Caitlin, my office manager, asked him, like, are we friends now? And he's like, we're friendly. And this was like 2 years. So even though I really like this guy and he's awesome, he had to go. Like, it wasn't a good fit, right? And that's important. So how do you attract the right people? I think about hiring like dating. Like, you can have that profile, like my friend that I was just talking about who had to go, who met all the boxes, checked all the boxes. But you're really looking for kind of chemistry. You're kind of looking for magic. If you're going to work with these people for years and years, 40 or more hours a week, you want to click. So one of the things that I'm doing now is I'm making my team superstars in our branding. Why? To attract the right people. So they told me it was important to have a work-life balance. Totally agree, 100%. We now close early every Friday and do yoga for anybody who wants to. So this is Darren, who's over here, doing the crow. And we put this stuff on social media. We have a campaign about Modern Law so that people who want that, who are attracted to that, now come to me for jobs. It's not like it's foolproof. We also use the People Analyzer. We still do background checks, but that sort of thing helps make sure that you get the right people on board. So, manager tools. Management has been the hardest thing for me to tackle and the most important. It's made arguably one of the biggest differences in my firm. And we do a lot of different experiments. But this particular one, managing your people, is just critically important. So check out Manager Tools, which is a ton of online free tools. One-on-ones is the crux of any employer-employee relationship, and not just employer-employee, but like report management and person under you. One-on-ones, every time I tell people to do this, they kind of groan. Like, oh, really? You want me to set aside half an hour to meet with people and just listen to them? Yes, I do. These people are working for you and they're making you money. Set aside a half an hour to listen to them. Make it happen. I promise you it will be worth your time. You'll end up spending less time on problems and never will your law firm fall apart on you. How many people have heard horror stories of mass exodus from law firms? Right? At Model Law Practice, we have a client right now who just experienced that. That can never happen if you're doing one-on-ones because people will tell you everything. You'll know exactly what's going on in your firm and they want to tell you everything. They want to be heard and they want to solve problems. That's the other thing that this structure has allowed us to do is because we now have this transparency and we have the right people and we have the right team and we're doing management, we're doing one-on-ones, my team solves problems now. I don't run around trying to solve everyone's problems, and they don't look to me to solve problems. They come to me with solutions. They come to me with, hey, I think this is wrong, and I think here's what we should do to try to fix it. It's incredible. And that is what happens when you go to relationship-based management and you know who you are. That's why this crust and this sauce are the first two things that we're talking about. Radical Candor is another book that I highly recommend you check out. It's really good, and it's the Radical Candor. And the basic premise is care deeply and speak truth.